reality is, though, the eyes are going to be on the Sova when you come into this, because nobody expects Sova to do well on this map. We saw the entire scene move away from him. And if it is to counter the Cypher, well, that's something that the Cypher was always around at that time as well. So big drag, Twistin able to catch the first, and even decent damage onto another, and that has backfired.
Yeah, that hasn't gone great whatsoever. Not been able to pick him off, and I don't even think he took any damage, which is definitely a little bit of a surprise considering the position he was in. Aslan has just run all the way into the spawn of his opposition, but will be traded out just after 1 kill. It's going to be a slight upgrade for Ardis. And now, again, just the patient play of FPX as they try and slow things down a little bit. Probably going to wait for that wall to break in middle as well.
The wall's just shattered. I'll check for anybody having already pushed down. Heading for FPX, yeah. 2-1 split into B seems to be the play. Still have that Viper wall over on the A site, but nothing's going to come of that this time around. And look at the rotates for Big. Obnogs is making his way onto the B site. Left. They're going to be stacked up here. FPX running out into it. And Angel had to take up that orb, go for the peek. There's the recon, and there's the peek after, but Twistin's a little bit too quick, securing the site almost instantly. Big, they've won this round.
Yeah, and a solid start from Twistin as well. It was something mentioned by the desk that his move away from Duelist is always going to be something a little bit more interesting, because definitely going into this team initially, he was always going to be considered that sort of star fragger, that jet slash raise slash whatever you like, but realistically, I don't think he is a bad Cypher. Like, he wouldn't be up in my list of like the greatest Cyphers of all time, but he can definitely make the agent work, and especially with the individual skill he has, playing around that utility can definitely benefit him quite a lot. Now, some of the other changes we've seen is obviously God B no longer playing on that breach, and they've switched that up to the sky of Obnox, which again is something that I think we've thoroughly enjoyed throughout other maps. I'm a little bit disappointed that we don't have a Viper on the other side, just because I like that Sky Viper combination, but we'll see how they're actually going to try and make that work. And by the looks of it, he's almost just pocketing Aslan on the other side of the map and just trying to make sure that he's going to be able to go for those more aggressive peaks.
This is one of the worst things. One of the worst things to see a Judge in this position, but more often we're seeing teams very much prepared for it. What? The FPX have to deal with this, though? Yeah, you're going to peek in. No armor almost on anyone, actually. It is Farmville. At least it should have been. Oh, B, though, gets taken down after just 1. It's already damage done. FPX will look to do a little bit more. And now they've got a Judge, which makes going into Vents or retaking Heaven a pretty daunting task.
Yeah. And around like this, again, it kind of becomes a point of how much damage they can do. Like, they're going to walk into what is Cypher utility with
30 seconds left.
Twistin still just waiting within the site. A potential crossfire from Casper as well. And realistically, they should get absolutely nothing from this point onwards, because they just don't have the range. So that might be one of the most optimistic spams I have ever seen with a Judge.
Maybe someone's 1 HP that can get a kill. Yeah, I don't know about that. Twistin, even though he was himself very close to 1 HP, nothing will take him down. And so they do get away with 3 players. And look, it's not the best. They're having to reinvest into a lot of shields, even on the players that survived, making it a much, much more expensive round than they would have wanted it to be. But at least they won. At least they didn't lose 3 players. You know, it's recoverable.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world, and actually Big are going to go for a huge investment here, almost like the hero op that we used to see quite regularly in CS. So I'm excited for this. As I said, they have the pocket player, and it's just a setup. It peeks out to go, yeah, I'll destroy the Tiger so they don't get that information. They don't get rid of any utility that we have set up, and instead he's met with an operator. There is no way that Angel would have predicted that.
Sugetsu, we saw him go in towards B main here. He's going to try to slow creep through, I think. I think that means they're clear in Heaven, which means they're running into God B with that setup that we saw in the previous round. Now, he managed to get 1 kill with, or 2 kills with 1 shot, but they, again, had no shields to play with there. That was a very once-off scenario, and the wall's going to go down. They'll break it just to cause some misinformation and make sure he sticks around. But yeah, he's up on top, but they're not coming to him. They're avoiding this completely. This is all just a ruse from FPX as they look for the A side.
Still 2 players within the site. The information is going to be huge coming out from Obnox. Knows that there's at least somebody up top taking that control, and with Godby on the other side, they'll have a decent idea. They're going to clear the first player. Obnox, the flash is good. He's just delaying. He's buying time, trying to allow for the rotation to come through, and he's done a decent job of it, but it will still be an after plan. The main worry at this stage, though, is going to be the aggressor of Soigetsu.
Now, if he's able to find himself an off angle on these players, honestly, I should expect him to having control to go to their opponents, but they have so much to deal with as they push out and so little to deal with it with. Got beat, caught on the judge. Aslan's down, and Soigetsu's got them all. An off angle it was, and a round win in the end for FPX. I mean, look, that could have been a lot worse for them. Cypher really saving the day.
Yeah, and the problem is as well, you're kind of hoping in those sort of rounds that a lot of the kills will go in Aslan's direction so that the risk is rewarded by, well, getting that Blade Storm online. Even if he goes down, you're kind of hopeful that they'll have something to play with. It's not the case, though. So he's ended up with a pistol, and they still have a few rifles on the board, but if anything, I think FPX have come into this with a significantly better buy. But as we know, defensive side is split. Did you just see like Angel just phase through that wall for a second?
Yeah, I was wondering. What's going on there, but obviously it's a spectator bug.
Yeah,
nobody needs to check him PC. It's okay.
He's just playing with God mode.
Alright, guys, I'm gonna no clip to A and plant. It's got an omen ult essentially. But yeah, so look for FPX right now. They're going to be very conscious about heaven. I'm not surprised to commit a drone. And, oh, there's a judge there. Well, you either don't want to push it or you want to do something like that. Nice attempt. The shock dart even made it through, but Godby remains at full HP. Here it comes again, though. Ooh. Oh, that one hurt.
Yeah, they still haven't moved him, though. And that's the problem. With him even being alive, it's just an irritation. Twistin playing on the close corner as well is something they can no longer clear with the drone. He's actually going to get aggressive. Didn't expect the player to have crossed. Maybe a little bit much as the solo defender, although the rotation from Caspe is in fast, and with nobody really backing up Zipan. This is a fantastic hold. We're just seeing multi-frag after multi-frag in this match so far, and, well, Ardis got a lot still to do and no utility to do it with.
Those shock darts already expanded, and
so awful.
4 players ready to swing on him. The judge upgraded for Godby, and everyone on Big has got a smile on their face. Look, the attack side can be tough on split. Picking up a round every now and then is all you can really expect from most players or most teams. So FPX aren't really in the dumpster just yet, but I do like that they're coming up with an interesting adaptation, right, to that judge play. The shock darts, we don't usually get to see them, and yeah, they can be used to harass that close play a little bit.
Yeah, I guess the problem, though, is the fact that if he's playing there with a judge, it almost doesn't matter if he has, like, 10 HP. Like, you have to kill him. Otherwise, the value of it seems diminished. And it was almost something that Godby was just doing as an economic thing. Like, okay, we've locked you down there. Aslan, though, he's swinging. Like, he's obviously up against pistols in this round, but we'll take a bullet to the face and just opt to fall away.
The heal coming onto Aslan, so he'll be right back up to full health. Just no shields to play with. Is Big, I've got a lot of players on A, but they're starting to shift towards the other side of the map, slowly but surely. Aslan could be isolated in this duel. In fact, he isolates them. Spike dropped and he falls back, playing on the catwalk. The teammates covering the walk out below. There's even a trap wire there. They've got 2 in spawn. Big have all their bases covered here. 0 opportunities given to FPX. Even there, you get a guy peeking in from spawn and gets naded. Aslan's instantly swinging in. He could have went down, but I wouldn't have given them that much. I like that from Big. Really clean and indeed flawless.
Yeah, I'm really liking their A-site defense at the moment. I think this combination of Obnox and Aslan is really irritating to play against. And then they've just been switching up where they've played a lot of their trips as well from Twiston. Like he's been placing them early on A at some points just to make sure that they have that additional information. And they're playing very well off of it. I think the other aspect as well, which is rare at least, when you're FPX or what we've seen in the past from FPX, more so Angel, is that they've actually done quite well at making sure that either mid control is locked down or they've left bits of it open and they know exactly what those bits are. And I think that's a crucial part of when you play split, that if you are giving up any part of middle control, you have someone available for that information, such as in the round where Obnox put the flash through the window to check if there are players in heaven. Like, they still have those bases covered.
And it is very much important to have those contained when you're playing the majority of your Cypher utility around that A site. You know, you don't really have anything to cover walkouts on B, walkouts on heaven, and controlling those kind of pieces of the map becomes very difficult. But that's where Sky, you know, the second that we realized, because when we first play tested her, you know, we didn't really notice that it confirmed the flash when we were testing it out in the range and whatever. And then we played a game, we're like, wait. You get information and blind them and can control it? All right. Pretty strong. So fun to see teams adapt to that. Now, lots of information given over here as well. There's at least 2 players spotted outside A. But that has not deterred Aslan. In fact, that spurs him forward. Luckily, this drone should halt his plan.
Yeah, he'll get out of there fine. And the worry at the moment is because of how... well, I guess little success has been. Big have actually completely changed up their setup. Like, sure, you've still got the 2 players that you had before granting information, but now you also have Twiston here with all of his Cypher utility. So they'll get a nasty surprise if they go walking into the site. The fact is, though, FPX, initial battle, more importantly, some space taken. And as I said, this is something that Big have been very good at controlling so far, is knowing positions on the map that they've lost. So I'll be curious to see if they're aware this time.
Really interesting to see this change in FPX. You know, we used to always see Angel do exactly what Zipman is here. Although his pressure applied somewhere on the map, he would sneak up through mid as a Brimstone, get into a position, drop his smokes down, and then start to play. But now he's playing Viper. He needs to be with his team on A to effectively get those smokes down, which means he can't play that lurk role. Got B down below on 1 HP, and he'll be dealt with as well. There's still some players on the site. Every single one gets spotted and dealt with immediately. Plant secured. FPX have the round. Beautifully sold fake to start things out. Great lurk out of Zipan, and now a very tough clutch for Aslan and Twiston.
Yeah, they do have the finances to take a bit of a risk here. The God B's been saving money on judges every single time, and they might just want to try and remove some of that economy from FPX from the last couple of rounds. They're still very wary of some sort of flank. And normally you'd be a bit worried playing in those corners, especially if you're up against a Raze or even, for example, Astra's utility just being used to pull players out. Because it's a Jet and a Cypher, they can just sit back and play this crossfire. And it is filthy without those abilities to clear it out. So an easy hold. Twiston is still going to go looking for those exits, but Xiao is waiting. And on the other side of things, it seems like Azan is just going to save.
Yeah, just not worth investing that little bit more, losing that extra weapon. Now, obviously, we see Aslan's got a lot of credits. I didn't manage to catch a look at the rest of the team, and assumed decent and actually very healthy indeed. So they'll get a nice, comfortable buy here with still credits left over for the next round on most players. Plus, they've got a Blade Storm to play with for the next round. So they're set to lose this round and then still buy in the next. That's a bit of a problem when you're on the attack side of Split, where you really want to get a free round after you win one, because it's tough to get any rounds here.
Yeah, I do like as well that, like, obviously this is the classic FPX style, but I like that after God B's utility had, well, basically the wall had faded, they went back to that position to challenge for it. And they left Zipan behind initially just to make sure that they hadn't lost too much map control. And no one had gone pushing down mid, no one had taken ropes control. So they could make sure that if they go back in that direction, it's perfectly safe to do so. And obviously if the initial hit goes successfully, then they can have just had Zipan rotate in and play from heaven instead. So it was really well done, because that's been one of the major issues. They've tried to challenge versus God B when he's been playing these close angles, but that only really works with the wall or if you have utility available. If he falls back a little bit and throws some slows, that's where they can actually pounce on the timing. So I wonder if it means that maybe God B will hold some of that utility a little bit longer in the next couple of rounds. But interestingly, he's actually playing this one from ropes.
Now, quick interruption to gameplay that we had. That was FPX having to reconnect one of their PCs. A little bit of a ping issue that's now being resolved. Right back into the action. We're seeing a very passive default out of FPX. The 2 players have been spotted towards A ramp. That might cause some rotations. It might cause some aggression. And that's what FPX are hoping for, waiting on middle and inside, or outside of B, I should say, for someone to push on up. And that, they've heard now. I think they will have heard the player inside of B main. I'm not sure if Aslan did step, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of information here right now for Big. Aslan deep. Also, you've had Godby in the majority of this round actually just swinging into mid, and he has delayed the wall. So it's going to last a lot longer than it had done previously, and obviously gives the information over if it's broken. So they can have this 3-man stack on the other side of the map, and it is one hell of a utility stack to have.
There's a very peculiar ultimate. Full heaven control now to play with from FPX. An interesting adaptation. Oh, God, Angel's been ruined. They had a trap wire there, as if they were ready for it. Maybe not for the ult, but for the player to come through. 3v3 in the end, and look who's stuck on the site. Casp about to be spotted, and now he's in trouble. They might look to isolate him on the site. Artis has been deleted at least, but here comes that showstopper, hunting them down. They get on out, and there's a slow orb to guarantee that rocket will not find any target. Without it landing its mark, FPX have a man disadvantage, but time on their side, Tom, and they just need to run this clock down. If Sagetsu gets out of here... Oh, he's actually under heaven as well. Aslan checks it inside the cloudburst. He's surviving for now, and he'll right-click him out of the map. What a beautiful round from Big. That retake was textbook.
They've been waiting for that trip to hit the entire time, and it couldn't have come at a better possible moment. Just being able to deny that Viper's Pit from controlling heaven gave them so much more space in the wraparound, because I imagine the plan from FPX was basically just not allow them to rotate in at all. The other 3 players claim the site, and the entries actually look fairly decent. It's just the fact that they catch out the Viper's Pit that the round completely falls apart. And again, I mentioned it at the beginning. Like, I think the Twistin has started to show some levels to his play. Like, sure, placing a trip, I'm sure that can be something that's not too difficult to teach, but it's seeing the fact that, I guess, Big have the faith in him to play other agents other than just these duelists.
He went away and learned his trapwire lineup, so well deserved. But at 5-2, you know, Big are looking good. Defense building up those rounds. For FPX, what have they got to work with here? A Hunter's Fury. Other than that, weaponry with Angel left down to a Sheriff. There's certainly a lot of weaknesses here for the attack. They're going to hope that Big makes some mistakes and get a little bit too aggressive. Holding down in this early default. Eventually, though, FPX look for mid control. They're going to find this very easily. There's a lot of space left open here by Big.
Something that Godby has started to fall back to look upon, but it leaves isolated jewels, and versus these pistols, that leaves an opportunity, but Casper gets the right timing on the peak. Might actually be a kill coming through, but it's not going to be anything more. FPX finding a double and leaving just 3 players standing, one of them within the site, and Zipan just goes huge. Artis from behind as well, and it's left onto Aslan, a 1v4 turn 3. A tough clutch.
Yeah, indeed. A very tough task ahead of Aslan. And he realizes that maybe it's not worth committing to either. So he'll hightail it out of here, save that up for the next round, and give a third to FPX. Building up those rounds slowly but surely. I gotta say, yeah, with the way this attack side's going, FPX continue to chip away at Big. They can look fantastic coming out of this. But I really don't know how to gauge the second half. You know, when we get to there, are FPX going to be able to stand up on the defense? They're looking good right now, but you get kind of map 1 flashbacks, things can get a little spooky.
Yeah, I'm more interested, at least right now, to see what adaptations Big are going to make, because it seems to now be a running theme that they're not, I'm gonna say, respecting the wall. You shouldn't ever, like, it's not one of those things that should just lock off a portion of the map. But in some of the earlier rounds, they almost respected the fact that GodB was going to be playing close. Now that has had not a lot of success over the last couple, with 2 rounds basically falling because they've been able to get through heaven. That needs to change, and by the looks of it, it is. They've completely switched up the setup in mid. They're going to go for something slightly more aggressive. However, it seems like this is going to be an all-in take from FPX.
Oh, it certainly does. FPX have already got control over heaven. In fact, they're very close to those players trapped over towards the vents. They don't know that there's this many players about to peek them. They certainly suspect there's some combat coming. Lots of damage taken. Flash in, and oh, Casper takes his time on that one. He ends up grab-welling himself, and he'll make it away, getting the reload off before falling to Xiao's bullets. Big with the disadvantage. Everybody coming in through spawn. No heaven control. And now fighting against the blind as well. The timing for Twistin. Luckily, Artis is there to trade.
I'm probably a little bit confused, but it won't matter in the end. Soigetsu has put himself into a fantastic position. We've also got the Cosmic Divide, which, well, peeking through that with an operator is nigh on a death sentence, and they're going to go looking to try and find him, but the fact is he's already left. Again, these are the things I've always loved most about FPX, are these pace changes. Like, just as you talk about, like, Big having to make those adaptations, they throw in a curveball round which ruins their entire plan. Like, they had multiple players ready and set up on this A site in every single round. They relied on solo mid holds from GodB. You then win a couple of rounds in mid, and the next round you blast through A, because the adaptation Big, or the logical one that Big will make, is to stack up in mid and try and deny you that space. That's just brilliant mind games coming out from Angel.
You'd expect nothing less in a game with GodB and Angel's teams butting heads. It was very much the storyline from the desk, that these two big brains facing off against each other. And yes, it's been a long time since they've had the opportunity to, but in a way that almost refreshes it, right? It's not like anyone's a defending champion or anything because it's been so long, but now you'll be the, like, hey, we beat you. We got you that time. You know what I mean? And that's it. You're done till playoffs. Exactly. Also, the value of starting off the season strong definitely cannot be underestimated. Honeymoon periods and streaking together games can do a lot for a team's mentality. And Big are coming up against London United. Now, if they're going to have any chance of taking down Team Liquid, it definitely starts, which was is their third game. It's FPX this week, beat London United next week, and then, you know, you've got a little bit of momentum. Maybe you have a chance up against Liquid. I mean, wishful thinking, because Liquid look unreal right now, but got to start somewhere.
Again, they've managed to hold on to this mid control, and we've gone back to the early rounds. It's got to be on top of a wall with a judge. Now, this is something that has been expected. There's still a drone online, so it is going to be spotted. they just ignored it. I like that. He just goes, oh, I'm not even going to shoot it. Go on, tag me. You know I'm here. I know you're there. Come at me.
Yeah, a curious choice. What's he going to do now? He can't even get close to them. There's a blast pack right behind him. He's ran through, and it's still being watched. They were ready for that play, and they found another. Casp's gone down in the 1-to-1 trades. The site's now theirs. There's a player in heaven challenging, and Obnox has gone down. It was a 2v2. Aslan had an op. This was winnable, but Obnox just went absolutely crazy, swinging out for that fight. And now it has to be the clutch that's just never going to happen. 5-5 FPX. I mean, Tom, they already have a good attack now. This is starting to get very worrying for Big.
Yeah, they're in a very good position. I will say that when we used to watch FPX on this map, their attack was always pretty damn good. I think that's the thing that Angel always worked on, was like wanting to be the best at the side of the map that everybody else struggles with. And that was why, for a time, they were one of the best teams. I'll be interested to see if everything still works as well when it comes to the defensive side. And don't get me wrong, I still think there's going to be opportunities there for Big. The worry now, though, is I do feel like, again, similarly to the previous map, FPX look like they've figured out quite a bit of this. Like they haven't run into the operator, I think, once. Like that first kill onto Angel in like round 3. I don't remember anything else really happening with the operator. They have managed to avoid it. They fought for mid control quite often, and the early success of GodB, it's fallen apart a little bit. And now we're seeing what I want to call riskier and riskier plays. Like, obviously, in this round, you can understand it. It's a weaker purchase. It's not great, but like that's an all-in play if ever I've seen one.
Yeah, it very much is. Oh, leaving nothing on the table, I guess. Normally you do that coming out of a half, but they're doing it coming towards the end of this one. You're going to get the A side push successful for FPX. Big might, I mean, you save at this point? They can get another rifle on mid, save the 3, but it's 3v4. I mean, I guess they play for the pick here, see if they can get it. Angel's not looking. That timing is terrible for Kaspa. He peeks around the corner. Oh, well, maybe it's not, because I guess he's caught Sagetsu off guard. Another kill for Gobi. Okay, now you definitely don't save. This is more than winnable. This is favorable. There's plenty of time left on the clock. Angel, he was shifting through the smoke, and he's caught as well. That is gorgeous by Big. Around that, I was ready to call it quits. And they play for a pick, and they find all of them.
Yeah, it's almost like, what was it? Casper peaked, just ended up being the distraction play for God B to just have the perfect timing onto the remainder of the players. Like, solid synergy from them, but that's one, like, I feel like FPX and their afterplants in most cases have been pretty solid. Like, other than getting caught out by a trip they weren't expecting, across both maps, I think they've been pretty decent, but this one just looked a bit more messy. Like, it was like they were scrambling to kill that initial player and just all the other angles were forgotten about, and that's not something I expect from a team like FPX.
Yeah, certainly tripping themselves up a little bit there. Too eager, seeing the 7-5 start to form, perhaps. Whatever it was, they better refocus coming into this one. Already got their 5 rounds, as we said. Good foundations built, but it'd be a shame to leave another round in Big's hands and maybe let them have the pistol, so on. You know, these things spiral. I see it all the time. FPX are going to look for mid control into B, I think. They're starting to shift in that direction. And Big want to push A, but they're going to be way too late by the time they get that info. Unless they gamble the rotate. This is so risky. They have no control of mid. They could easily have FPX walk through vents, come behind them on A, and ruin their day. Instead, they gamble to the B side, and FPX are running right into it.
Almost playing off what happened prior. It's going to be a swing out from Twist, and he actually gets away with that, and we'll find the information. And now with the remaining players looking to be on cleanup, but Xiao has managed to find a trade. They have the site under their control. It definitely looks like a retake setup, and what Artist is just trying to deny as long as possible, hoping to be handed an individual jewel. Well, there it is. Xiao takes the head clean off of Aslan, leaving just 2 players remaining. One of them looking to try and make some space for the other, and Godby's going to land the shot again. It's all onto Xiao, and with the res coming through, he might even just swing off of this, but instead, Xiao has the chance to take both. He's wary of the flank coming through, and eventually Aslan will land a crucial operator shot, because, well, it was looking like Xiao had that, if I'm honest.
It definitely was. You could see that universe unfold in front of us, but luckily Big have managed to push up to 7. It's not a great half for defensive side split, but, you know, it was definitely looking like it would be 7-5 to FPX at a certain point, so I think they can be pretty happy with that one. Swinging in now with a pistol round would almost reset things for them.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that when we saw this map actually played versus Na'Vi for FPX, they ended with 10 rounds on their attacking half. Now, the problem with obviously them winning it that dominantly, we won't know if their defensive side is particularly good because they closed it out in quick fashion, but you can also say a similar story for Big. Getting 6 rounds on the attacking side when playing against Vitality, the first time even getting 8 rounds and that not being enough. So there is definitely potential. Of course, the switch up in comps definitely makes things a little bit more interesting. Not having that breach available will change things a little bit. But they're going to go very fast up mid, Mitch.
That they are, yeah. Steaming in towards the side. This is going to be kind of difficult with 2 players down towards side and main. Okay, that's the adaptation. FPX, I was going to say they almost have to leave the site. Instead, they push up mid. Already finding 2 kills. Zipvan is on fire. Another headshot landed. Any doubt about this round going to FPX is surely now settled, but look at the HP of Zipan. He could go down and leave Angel and Xiao to do it all. The upside being that they've got the spike secured. And there's pretty much, I mean, Twistin walking through here, he's going to lose a fair bit of HP considering it's the pistol round, and Angel's got shields to play with as well.
The spike is here.
Gonna try actually get this one through. Bear in mind how low Zipan currently is, but he had the extra nade to just throw through to deny them that little bit longer. Still got players watching in towards B main as well, knowing that this hasn't been stolen away. The worry is that Zipan's the one taking the peek, but he was just looking for the information. They end up getting both, and then Casper takes off the head of Xiao. It was looking unlikely with everything set up for FPX, but still Big come out on top.
Well, that is disgusting. The double kill in heaven was bad enough. The attempt on the rope from Xiao, well... Ooh, that could have seen a better ending for the side of FPX. Big really putting up a fight here. I mean, these guys are now... Okay, look, they've got the pistol. It's still attack side. I'm very concerned still. But getting it to 9-5 evens the playing field again. It puts them back in a spot where it's not too scary. Because it's making up for the terrible start that they had, really. You know, FPX dominated.
Here.
That first half. You gotta be so careful though. Like with the buy that FPX have, I'm just Artist buying a shorty. It's sickening, but it could do so much damage where he is. Luckily, they're not going his way.
Yeah, they also have like a little bait and switch. It's not even one shorty. It's two. So if the first guy doesn't get
shorty
you,
as well.
Yeah.
Oh, that's disgusting. What the hell?
It's just gross. They're just waiting for anybody.
No. Help source. Someone bring them back.
By the way,
let them know.
They've got a grab well as well. Just in front of it.
oh, this is going to be so nasty, dude.
If they get nothing, I'm going to be so sad. Oh, no, he didn't use it for a grab, but they're going to play in the smoke. Oh, this could still just be disgusting. The cam
they haven't
might not
cammed it.
actually see anything. They're going to go
Fuck
up towards Angel instead, and that might be the perfect play. The other two players should be absolutely screwed here. And well, now playing sight with this gun, it's not going to work. Great clearing. That's doing your due diligence right there. From the sight still gets one. I thought for a second he might get the reload off, but hey, it was nowhere near as bad as we thought it could be.
Let's go. I mean, like, Zipan! How does he make it so close in that situation? Headshot after headshot. The fact that they actually got a kill on site, I mean, Xiao is going to be laughing his ass off, shortying someone from back A. But Big 9-5, they don't lose that much. They'll play a bonus round here, and the opportunity for FPX.
Well, that's the thing, they lose 3 just because of this.
Yeah.
Like, so it's more than they definitely would have wanted to. Like in a 4v1 scenario, like Zipan's done very well, and he's only one away from having a showstopper in a round that, well, they're desperate to win. And because of what actually happened in the last round, there's a fair few people actually buying into it. One of them is actually not Aslan, because he's come in with the Spectre, and Xiao has actually denied a very early push from Twist.
Behind that wall, a nasty spot to play in from Angel. But it's going to be detected. He has to run quickly. The spams are going to come through. He's out already. Slow orb there as well. Was that from the attack?
Yes.
Yeah, it has to be. Why did they slow? I guess the slow was just late. I don't know why Aslan's dead. How is Artist killing all these people?
All right, then. That was interesting. Just a couple of spams, pre-fire angles, and Artist has taken down 2. Oh, I thought for a second the lineup would come in, but turned it into a 2 versus 4 scenario. A very tough position for the remaining players to be in. And as said, they've bought in a little bit extra alongside what would have been the bonus. Now, their positions are almost definitely known. You can see every spot being watched, held. Well, honestly, I don't see how Big actually comes out of this one.
I've said that before, though. And I've just thrown it back in my face. Let's give him a chance here. He's been nuts, and he's dropped immediately. Angel winning the battle of the brains, or, well, the battle of the aims, I suppose, this time around. As we go 9-6, still plenty of ground.
Say the battle of the aims.
Yeah, brains and aims. You know, it kind of went together. I liked it.
It rhymes, but it doesn't sound good.
there were two aims, you know, there was an aim there, an aim there, two aims. Battle of the aims. There you go. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, the big brains definitely are in the server. I agree with Sue.
I've never denied it. Like, FPX are 3 behind right now, but that, remember, Big lost a lot of players in the second or the third round. They're now in a spot where, second round I meant. They're now in a spot where they can't really buy. They got a couple of pistols to play with, a bunch of disadvantages, and Twiston is destroyed trying to lurk through A.
Yeah, this happened a couple of times. That's 2 rounds in a row where he's tried something really aggressive as the lurk, and it just doesn't seem worthwhile. Like, you're normally the player to try and sneak him from behind, like buy some time for the team, hold on to the space. Instead, being insta-killed, it loses all of that benefit. So I felt like he's definitely going to have to rein it in a little bit. And especially in a round like this, that opening kill coming up for the defense is huge because they can start to take gambles elsewhere.
Taking that back.
FPX are shifting back, grabbing that spike. It looks like we're maybe looking at a straight B blitz out through main. Another star has just gone down. Big undeterred. I see lots towards the right side here. Lots of pings. Are they going to try to block off the side itself? Move into the right. There's the flash. There's the peek. Yes, they're running the right lane. You don't normally see this from teams, and Zipman didn't expect it either. The ult is destroyed, taken out of the round, but they still need to deal with Sagetsu. They know that he plays this site. They know he put that cage down just a moment ago, activated it, and now they'll deal with him on the back of the site. Very well handled by Big, and now they end up in a 3 versus 2 with Casper getting healed on up.
They do have to be careful. Incredibly low HP on Obnox. Almost seems like it's going to end up as a 2 versus 2, and well, he's still going to manage getting a kill. It's left onto Angel. It's a little bit tight, and he's aware that there could be a potential wraparound. Obnox is just selling this as a fake. He's trying to bait Angel in while his IGL looks to try and wrap back around, but Angel is aware of it. He gets the timing spot on, and now into a 1v1 with basically 1 HP on the other side. It could not have been better played by Angel, and he will have himself this defuse.
Well deserved, I think it's fair to say. Yeah, I think he's a little bit jealous of Gabi getting all the attention, winning out those clutches earlier on, so he'll take his own. And that's going to have Viper's Pit online and ready to rumble. Plenty of credits for Angel to drop over to his teammates. Now you cast an eye over towards the big side. They're actually kind of struggling for cash, having to take some light shields out on some players. Remember, they haven't really been able to gain control over their economy. Even though they've won a bunch of rounds, they've all been close to start this half out and suffered heavy casualties along the way. Look at that, light shields having to be played for some of these players already. And if they lose this round, well, the FPX are likely to equalize because Big will be forced to an eco.
Oh, it's a pace change though, and well, Xiao is going to meet his maker seconds into the round. Spike dropped, but more importantly, they've managed to even things up. And actually, Ardis is just going to throw in the Hunter's Fury, give them the advantage. Aslan has gone so far, but again, he will fall.
Okay, well played by Twiston to at least grab one. But now they know where he is, so they're going to pick the pace up towards the side a little bit. Leave Casper by himself, but he does manage to sneak out towards main. A Gravwell there to play with, dragging anybody off the site. We've seen the second star used for stun earlier on to great value. FPX are trying to mitigate that entirely by making a play towards main. And they're, oh, this is smart. You're still going to have to deal with that Astra utility. They're going to just tap it right now, make them spam, and as they do, return fire. This needs to be diffused here and now, and that it will be. Hold on. Is the time too low? It's close.
He's got it.
He's going to get it by 0.18 of a second. FPX get away with an 8th round. A nasty close to it, and Big have got to be so upset that Gravwell, if it was tapped just 0.18 of a second later, oh, you can't account for that.
No, absolutely not. You also can't account for just Angel using that Viper's Pit on your one way to deny it. Like, it was well played in that clutch situation. Like, that was looking like a done deal with how things opened up. The Hunter's Fury being able to shut down, and the aggressive play from Aslan just not really gaining anything. They're going for it again. I guess after how they were able to shut down Xiao in the last round, he might be a little bit more careful.
Trailblazer up through mid. Big don't want to commit to that P play. They're going to start to shift out to mid itself. And we've seen Twistin play this angle quite a number of times. Excuse me, quite a number of times, trying to lurk through A, destroy some of that Cypher utility in the early round, take down their cam, stuff like that. Hasn't been able to find value from it, really. Those lurks are being watched by FPX every single round. A super patient team on the attack. I think it comes as no surprise that they're a super patient team on the defense as well. But they will get aggressive at times. Right here on mid, it's going surprisingly well up against the Blade Storm. And then the peek out from Artis. Only good for one.
You will not kill my ally.
Res available to bring back Obnox, and I imagine that will complete the healing process as well. It's position from Soigetsu, though. They've been so aggressive in this round with the fights into middle. There's an opportunity for him to get two, and he hits the timing perfect, leaving, again, just two players to fight off against this FPX defense. And the bigger problem is the time. 25 seconds, but actually, they might just thread the needle here. Angel's gone wrapping around, and I imagine Godby's probably a little bit confused right now because the site's completely clear.
Well, this might not be the blessing they think it is, though. I was going to say it means they'll be playing together. In fact, FPX do the exact opposite. This could not be any more separate. 3 players coming from 3 separate angles. But will Big expect that? It was necessary to send Angel down to break the wall, create an extra angle for them to worry about. Now B main getting pushed up as well. But look at the positions they're in. These are ratty little spots from Big. They should be able to at least find the one, and Gobi steps up again. One more needed, and he knows exactly where Twistin is. Time on his side, but he can't just sit in the corner and let himself be pushed. He'll go out on the wider angle, but Sugetsu catches him. Defuse for FPX. Scoreline tied up, and this is exactly why I gave that caveat at 9-6. Sure, Big were in the lead. They were starting to clock up rounds, but it's attack side split, and it is hard to consistently get rounds on the board here.
This is a game and a half. Like, I feel like we haven't had bad matches so far. And even though we're looking at these top teams that we've seen many, many times, both of these teams coming through the qualifier, both of them putting up an incredible fight. I genuinely think like these groups are going to be so open, and especially that third spot in Group A is going to be very exciting. But at the same time, I feel like one of the top teams, like Gambit Liquid, are going to have to be upset by someone. I just don't believe that it's going to be them blitzing through everyone else.
I had so much faith in the Big brand, you know, when it started out. And in Valorant, they never really achieved anything, right? They never pushed up to that tier 1 level. A few small community tournaments in the like beta days and ignition days, but never reached a tier 1 level. Never seemed like they would be, you know, a top global team. I want to see that from them, though, because this is a team that has so much potential, shown by how well their very aged in-game leader is able to come in here, compete with, you know, FPX certainly have had their issues recently too, but compete with them and put on a really good show. I hope this is the year of Big, and I know certainly a lot of people in our production team and even in our casting team want that to be the case too.
Yeah, Kakuka won't stop going on about that. Obviously it's Zeshed. Obviously it's Zeshed.
Wouldn't be Zeshed. This is a nice little gap there for Xiao to spray through. He's taking a lot of risks, and well, they paid off somewhat. Artis wasn't even aiming at him, crouching, running, spraying, and he catches a kill onto the low HP player of Obnox. Aslan low himself. Caspa's one of the main hopes for this round, and well, hope is quickly fading from the attacking side. Now the lead has been taken by FPX. They've dethroned the Germans. And only 3 more rounds needed on the defensive side to close this one out. Their ultimates not really coming into play for Big just yet, and their economy not allowing them to do too much here either. I'm not surprised they've called a pause, because this is a tough call needs to be made.
And that's the problem I'm having as well is normally like, for example, the adaptation in the first half where FPX, I feel like we're giving too much respect to God B. They adapt, they manage to take their control, they fight back. For Big, I don't necessarily want to look at these rounds and be like, oh yeah, they made this mistake, they made this mistake. It's more so that like they had the 1v1 with God B, or 1v2 that he didn't manage to win. You had the 1v2 where Angel managed to win it. And it's just like a few close clutch rounds. Even that one, it was like the spray through the smoke that ended up winning it for FPX in very tight fashion. Now, don't get me wrong, FPX are making adaptations to put players in the right place at the right time. But if you're big looking to try and fix something, I don't think there's something directly that needs to be fixed. It's just these rounds have been incredibly close. And unfortunately, in each case, they've come up the worst for wear.
Yeah, it looked like the only smile in the player cams there was on Gob B, and
Thank you.
I don't think that was a live cam, so a little bit disappointing. If you're big right now, you're going to be feeling this. They were in the lead. They were certainly feeling like they were coming into their stride, and now they're in a position where the map is swinging massively in favor of FPX. It's only one round. That might seem strange to say, but this defensive side, and with the way things have gone on top of it, certainly has not looked very good for big. Early round snake bite down. I thought they were going to nade on that, but they didn't. They just chilled out.
For information with the Tigers, it's not really going to garner a lot. They know the close angles are clear, but it's this same crossfire setup that we've seen. Different players, but each time it's been this contact taken by Zipan, and then the swing, well, in most cases from Angel, and that might actually bait them a bit, because now we've seen those trips actually move away from site defenses and instead used to garner information around this middle area. And it means for FPX right now, they don't actually have to take any map control because they have B locked down. They have eyes on A with utility there, grab well or stun or whatever you like, smoke if they need it. And then on the other side of things, they know that this mid control hasn't been taken because otherwise the trip would have gone off or been destroyed.
Well, since day one of Valorant, FPX have been playing mid control on attack sides, getting Angel or now Zipan in through the vents, in through heaven. Makes sense that they play to counter their own play, right? Give up the mid control, let you run the clock down like that. Just play on B, exactly right, Tom. It is a bait, but there's still plenty of players across the map to cover this one down. In fact, barely any assistance is needed here, with Caspa being the only player close by. And a shock dart is how he meets his demise. Got B caught on the way through, gives 11-9 in flawless fashion, and that is very bad. Now listen, Big did not come in with the best weapons and whatever. Did I expect them to get kills? Did I expect them to get 3-4 kills? No, of course not. But FPX now have an even bigger buffer to play with. They're sitting at 11 rounds. If they win one, Big's economy is ruined, and this game is FPX's essentially, and they're going to be able to continuously buy.
Last player standing.
Yeah, I think the worry as well is the fact that it's not even like Big have come into this with like a load of ultimates to play with. Like there's a few that are close for sure, but they have to almost win this round versus a team that has the majority of their ultimates ready. And in fact, the main one I'm looking at is the Hunter's Fury, which we saw just a couple of rounds ago had some high impact catching that rotation. Now they have left a lot of pressure here onto Saigetsu. This is looking like a complete misread, at least for now, but he's doing a damn good job of slowing them down.
One man all alone, completely stopping this aggression out of Big. I mean, they are 4 players stuck at a choke point and they do nothing. They don't push up. They don't try to take control. Instead, they're going to just start falling back, conceding it. And FPX were shifting towards that side of the map through vents, but now they're coming down through sewers. And oh, this is going to be a bit of an awkward fight. Not expecting it at all. Big, they've ran into another player in mid, and they don't know Zipban's here as well. He's able to get them all. 3 up close. Damage done to Obnox from the snake bite. And although the Seekers are chasing Twistin, down below, he's got good timing. Great space. And there's not a double. Angel is going to be dropped in the end, leaving Sagetsu to do it all. Rotating in from the A site. They know he was here earlier on. And so that's going to give Obnox the confidence to just straight up plant it. But Sagetsu's getting here, swinging in from heaven. That's the plan. Stopped for now. And that's it. Great repositioning. Great read by Sagetsu. And 12 for FPX.
It does seem like out of the players that we've been watching so far in this match, he is the most calculated. Like the way that he's been positioning himself, using his utility to delay, but the rest of the team in the meantime were all just taking map control. And sure, it almost went very badly wrong, but luckily Zipan was there to bail them out. And now, well, this buy is a very interesting one. One I don't know if I've ever seen before, because you have 3 players buying rifles with no shields.
Yeah, not the common buy, that's for sure. Obnox being the first player to swing out on mid there, spotting a couple of players moving in towards the ropes. But the issue that I'm seeing for Big, to start this one out is obviously all the ultimates they're coming up against. A Showstopper and a Hunter's Fury. The drone luckily doesn't find anyone, so no, Hunter's Fury will be used. Never mind. It's going to be activated right now. It's even caught a tag onto the jet.
Yeah, the value though, I don't know. They've got double healers. That's why I feel like they can almost actually play this and it works to an extent. Is because as long as nobody's going down, the low HP isn't really kept. Again, we're going to see this poison orb stolen back. It's something that Angel seems to do quite often in a lot of these rounds, but they have wasted a lot of time. 50 seconds on the clock. Still have that lurk on one side of the map and the sneak through with a hell of a lot of utility. And, well, the timing's been missed. Angel didn't expect them to be that far up. He's got Zipan alongside him, but he doesn't get a kill either. The Showstopper does damage, but again, the heals come through.
Aslan just needs to sit there and wait for that health to be regenerated, but the nade forces him out of position. A good frag for Zipan, but it's the first for the side of FPX. Still so much to play with here for Big, and Caspa's got a great angle. Low HP on Zipan, dealt with right away too. The site is now theirs, and FPX have a tough retake ahead of them. They need a big play, and Artis has to do it all. Not a chance. 2 more rounds for Big to hit an OT here. It's not done just yet.
Yeah, they did very well in that round. They caught a couple of tasty timings, that's for sure, and the Showstopper doing nigh on nothing was a little bit of a surprise. So they managed to basically bait out 2 incredibly impactful ults. The only other I would really look towards is the Viper's Pit, which I guess is now online. And all they really lost in return was, what, the Neural Theft? I don't think that's bad at all.
No, not terrible. But 2 rounds left to play with. There's certainly the opportunities, but you know, I look at this scoreline: pistol round, follow up, and then a streak for FPX. There's only 2 more needed. They're damn close. But in the context of how this half has gone so far, in the context of how the buy rounds have been playing out, I think it's quite clear that 2 rounds is actually a lot more than it looks like on paper. The good thing being that, yeah, you have that Hunter's Fury, you have that Showstopper already out of the game for FPX, and pretty much that, right? Like, to be honest, if Zipan manages to get his ult online, the game's probably over already, because he's probably killed everyone to do so.
Yeah, either that or we're getting into overtime, which honestly, with the way that both these maps or previous maps have gone, it probably would do the series justice. Both teams fighting tooth and nail. There's not really an individual in the server who I don't think has been performing to a decent level, and that's always a good thing. Like, you never want to see someone have their bad game in an important match like this. A complete change up though. God B. I feel like he's been watching some TikToks. He's trying to find a little lineup with his wall.
Yeah, right away there, Shock Dart managed to get rid of the trap wire cover in the back, and even in the grab well, Twiston's able to win that duel. Moving a little bit further forward, dodging all the spams. This is about as good as it could go for Big. They've got the site, they've got the man advantage, and the post plans, I mean, it's up to them. They can go wherever they want. Although Angel's quick to come back and fight for ramp control, and he's going to lock that player out, maybe hoping there's more than one back there. But sadly, it's only the one, so this isn't going to be all too easy for the rest of the team.
That's a surprising Viper's Pit. Like, because it basically means that he has to sit back as well and ends up just walking in. It achieves very little, and Twiston just popping heads as they go. Big live to fight another day, and in fact, bring this down to just 1 round. I'm looking at the economy of the other side. It's definitely not perfect, but there should still be a buy at least for the final round of regulation.
Yeah, one of the main things on this map is you can use that Viper's Pit to control middle, blocking off the 2 main ways, like turning both sites into a choke point. And the main fear you're gonna have, oh, what if a Raze nades me? What if a Showstopper comes? What if a drone? That's the main thing you're normally having on every map. They don't have anything to deal with that, really. Like, it's gonna be hard to clear someone out of a Viper's
Tiger,
Pit.
Basically. That's about it.
Exactly. But if you've got a second player mid as well, good luck to you. You know, Cypher's comfortable solo holding A, your Vents player plays mid with you, easy peasy. They decided to use it there on the retake. Now this is a much harder round for FPX with weaker weapons. Xiao isn't able to do anything, but Artis comes to save the day. A triple, the trade there for Angel. FPX, dramatic timing perhaps, as they come in at the last minute to close this map out. Twiston has to 1v3. And he won't even get the first man himself, Angel, to close it. 2-1. Look, we wanted a close series.